With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K, and welcome to another edition of my Rants and Raves video cast. As you can see, I'm joined with two gentlemen today who are going to talk about something quite unique in our industry. Not a lot of companies use something called design thinking to design their products. We'll get to that in just a second. But I know that I invited Nathan Bull, who's the Vice President and General Manager of Chief Division of Legrand. A lot of people think of mounts as just metal that you're bending different ways to make things hang, but in the old days, maybe it was that simple because we're just hanging one thing at one time. But now we're hanging, big LED structures, lots of monitors at the same time, and video wall applications. And there's not just the issue of making sure it gets hung, but it's also the issue of how hard it is to hang and how hard it is to service it. You're also having to think of, Nathan, and that new Chief Tempo line, which is a wall mount system line, use that design thinking, which we're going to talk to Dorian about in just a second. But Nathan, tell me about the Tempo line and sort of what makes it different than the other wall mount systems that are out there for mounting products.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Gary. Mm-hmm. Tempo, I'd summarize it this way: is you had mentioned, we've been developing products for the last 15, 20 years, solving these problems. And I'd say over a 5 to 10 year period, we design products to store things. We design products to maintain your display and easily pull it out and have a single person out there. And what we really did is we looked at all that innovation over about a 5 or 10 year period and how might we do it differently and better for our customers. We came up with the Tempo wall mount, and we're really excited that we're launching it now and into next year.
And it's more than just we're looking at it here on the screen just a second here. It's more than just a mount system. It is, obviously it's a mount system to mount things, but what you've done is you've really thought about it from the standpoint of the person who's going to actually put up the mount in the infrastructure to make their job easier, also make it where they can work more efficiently, right?
Yeah, and actually, I would say expand onto that. We thought of everyone that might influence or need to worry about that product. So we worked on it where it's easily to specify. So the people that are specifying can specify a single SKU. They don't need to worry about what the wall is made of. So they don't have to do site surveys. You might have technicians pre-populating a bunch of low voltage gear. Well, you can do that on off-site and bring it in and plug and play.
Yeah.
It has the pull out so you can maintain a display if you need to go and tweak something or change something. So I'd say from very start to finish, from specifying to the actual install as well as maintenance, we tried to interact and talk with our customers to find ways to make their lives easier.
And that's all part of a process called design thinking. Dorian Harrow, who's joined us here from Legrand AV, Chief and Legrand AV, is a product manager. Dorian, I want to know, I know what design thinking is because I teach it in advertising. I teach advertising, and we talk about design thinking from the standpoint of building better campaigns, empathizing with the not just the people who are doing the campaigns for, but also the people who are going to see the campaigns. But I'm curious, how did this come about specifically in and around the Tempo, and why design thinking? I mean, I know that it's the reason why it's the reason why Nathan's window is blocked by a bunch of Post-it notes, but it goes well beyond that, Dorian. So talk about design thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me, Gary. It really all starts with empathy and connecting with all of our customers, and by customers, it could be, an array of people. It's the installers, it's the design engineers, it's the consultants, the design consultants that are specifying the AV systems, and connecting with them and just really hearing what they have to say about the challenges that they're encountering, and learning more about how could we be solving their infrastructure problems, doing a better job at that. And through that process, we really learned that although, Chief has been innovating awesome products over, like Nathan said, 5, 10, 15 years, it's been this use this product A with product B with product C, and there's a lot of knowledge that inherently gets built over time that is hard to
remember. It's hard to remember what goes with what. Or like, let's say you're somebody who installs, you're an installer that does that, you're the evangelist for mounting things. You're going to know all this. But if you're someone like me who's going to mount something once a year, because I also work on, maybe I'm a software programmer and I'm going to mount something once a year, I'm going to not know that part C, as you mentioned, is part of it. So what you're saying is you're looking at it from the standpoint of everybody who would be involved in this process. And it's bigger than kidding, though, because the empathy brings you the knowledge of like what they're struggling with, and then maybe even new ideas on how to build something, though, right, Dorian? I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, looking at just kind of like the design thinking, the general path, it's not always linear, but talking to all of those different stakeholders, gaining empathy, and then really kind of like defining, okay, what problems are they talking about and how can we lean on themes within those problems that are similar across the different people that we're talking to. And from there, it's kind of coming up with a concept that might be able to fill the big problems that they're coming to us with, putting that in front of them, saying, hey, we talked 2 months ago, here's a concept that we think might solve the majority of the problems that you talked to us about. What do you think? And gain additional feedback, go back, iterate on that concept until we feel confident that what we have is going to, again, do the bulk of what people are talking to us about, and then prototype it, send it out to key people, have them feel, touch, experiment with it, and say, you know what? In CAD, in the software model, it looked great, but now that I'm looking at it in person, this doesn't feel right, or this screw is hard to get at. And those little tweaks are invaluable, and that's really, I think, what sets Chief apart in the market, in that we're paying attention to all those little details, and that's what we've launched essentially, is a conglomeration of a lot of feedback, doing a lot of work behind the scenes to kind of filter it down to the main key points, and then figuring out how it can solve it, like Nathan was saying, in a single part number.
And
Yeah,
Gary,
and
can
Nathan, I think
that?
the way that manufacturers used to do it is, like, I can tell you from my experience, we would hire somebody from the industry and say, well, this person used to be an installer, so they can tell us that, and which is a great idea, but only works until the product's gone past them. They've been not an installer long enough that they don't know how it's being used now. So that approach doesn't work all the time. The other approach we used to use is just improve the old design based on feedback from the old design rather than re-looking at it. And what you've done here with Tempo is a new concept. I mean, really, it looks a lot different than other traditional sort of wall mount products. I mean, you see a lot of components here that you might look at and say, well, I don't need that. But in reality, it's making it where that's a one-stop kind of option there. Nathan, talk about sort of the Tempo specifically and how that was impacted by design thinking.
Yeah, and I think I'll expand on what Dorian was saying about how we iterate with our customers. It's a change of mindset, okay? We used to prototype to prove out functionality. Does it work, right? Now we prototype. We still need to do that, but we prototype to learn more from our customers, to gain more empathy. And so Dorian mentioned, we go in and out. We don't go gain empathy and then 6 months later launch a product.
Yeah.
We gain empathy. So we came up with an idea of we should solve some of these problems. Let's go learn more. So we bring little low resolution prototypes. So Dorian and team brought out stick figures and cardboard and some other stuff. And what you're doing is you're focusing on, am I solving the right problems for you first? Then you bring it back and you ideate and you do another design cycle and you bring it back to them. Is this what you were talking about? It might not work. It might look ugly. It might not physically work. And Dorian team did a really good job. And that's, Gary, you had mentioned, it looks totally different. You ask an engineer to redesign or tweak something, it's going to look the same.
Right. Let
your customers drive that activity through iterative design and interaction with them. You're going to solve it with them, and it might be something totally different. And that's why I think Tempo is an example of that, of how it started with one thing and evolved to something totally different that solves problems that are worth solving and that our customers value.
Yeah, and you have storage plates there. You've got different mounting configurations. You've got something quite unique. Yeah, even the ability to put power there. But you also have 10 degrees of leveling adjustment and 2.5 degrees in 2.5 degree increments.
Yep.
It's also, obviously ADA compliant nowadays, but you have an enormous mounting pattern. You're not just tied to just Visa. There's a lot of options there that you could put other products. A lot of times we're putting digital signage media players behind these things now. We're also putting power management systems behind these things now. So this is an interesting thing. I know that Lori Englert's talked about this. I don't even know what her position is now. I think it's what is her role? I guess COO or something like that.
So yeah,
but she talked about design thinking, about how important it was, not just for Chief, but the whole organization, Legrand AV.
Yeah, and actually, Lori and I were the first ones trained in design thinking at Milestone, now Legrand. Lori's the CMO of Legrand North and Central America, was our VP of marketing. I actually used to report to Lori a long time ago. I love Lori. Yeah, it's changed how we interact with our customers, how we communicate with them, how we develop product. You had said, Gary, you do training. We've actually held free training for our customers to help train them and educate them on this topic. It's how we interact with our customers. It doesn't make you perfect, but it makes you understand and empathize and iterate and I'd say innovate in a different way. And so it has changed. Dorian and I just ran a 2-hour session for all of our new employees. People in our finance department takes it, right? Like, what would you do? Design thinking with finance. Well, there are ways.
Oh, I can tell you, when you're calling and trying to get some information, they either care about you or don't.
Right.
So
right.
I want the person to care about me.
Yeah, but it's applicable everywhere. And the beautiful part about it, Legrand finds values in it. It values it, right? And so we have the liberty to keep learning, practicing, and kind of educating people. And it is marketing, product management, finance, sales. Our sales meetings are different. And thankfully, our products are even more innovative than they were before.
Well, look, y'all, everything that Legrand AV has is available for the most part from Exertis Almo. You can see that at exertisalmo.com. But of course, I'm going to link the new Chief Tempo product line. It debuted actually at InfoComm, is now shipping. There's a wide range of products within the Tempo product line. I'll link that announcement that we originally did. And I'm also going to put out a call out, Nathan, to Exertis Almo to get you a lighting controller in your office too, so that we help you out there. But in any case, Dorian, thank you very much for joining us today. Nathan, you're always awesome. Thanks for this education on both design thinking and the differentiation that you bring to the new Tempo system. I appreciate both of y'all joining me. And if you want to see all the stuff that Legrand AV has, you know how to find them, legrandav.com. And of course, they've got all the different divisions from Daylight all the way through Chief and Mid-Atlantic and C2G, which is one of my favorite companies right now. No offense to you, Nathan, but in any case, and of course, you can see all of our video casts at ravepubs.com. Everyone, thanks for watching and have a great day.